Psalm 73 is a psalm of Asaph. Asaph, a Levite of the Gershonite family, was appointed over the service of praise during the time of David and Solomon. He led the singing, sounded cymbals before the ark, and apparently set up a school of music. 12 psalms are credited to Asaph, but this accreditation does not necessarily imply authorship, and may mean no more than that these psalms constituted an Asaphic collection, begun by the great man and then prolonged over the years by the Asaph singers. The psalms themselves cover a long span of time and have a deep and contemplative nature. He says, "Surely God is good to the pure in heart. I envied the wicked until I saw their end. They are swept away. God is my portion forever." Psalm 74 is an Asaphic psalm in which the writer says, "O God, why have you rejected us? Foes have defiled your sanctuary. How long will they mock? You are king from of old. Rise up, O God." This psalm describes the Babylonians' destruction of the Lord's temple. The imagery here is borrowed from ancient Near Eastern creation myths, in which the primeval chaotic waters were depicted as a many-headed monster that the Creator God overcame, after which he established the world order. Psalm 75 is an Asaphic psalm that has a note at the beginning saying that it was written to the tune of a popular song of the time called "Do Not Destroy." The writer says, "We give thanks to you, O God. I say to the boastful, do not boast. God is the judge. The wicked will drain the dregs of his cup." Psalm 76 is an Asaphic psalm that contains a note at the beginning stating that it was to be played on stringed instruments. The writer says, "God is known in Judah. You are glorious, more majestic than the mountains. The earth feared and was still when God arose to judgment." This psalm is in the form of a victory hymn. According to an ancient tradition, it was written after God had destroyed Sennacherib's army when the Assyrians threatened Jerusalem. See 2 Kings 19:35-36. Psalm 77 is an Asaphic psalm that contains a note to the music director at the beginning stating that it is for Jeduthun. He was a Levite of the family of Merari and one of the 3 masters of music appointed by David. His office was generally to preside over the music of the temple service. He writes, "In the day of trouble I sought the Lord. Has he withdrawn his compassion? You are the God of wonders. Your path led through the sea." Psalm 78 is an Asaphic psalm, and it is a recitation of the history of God's rule over Israel, from the time of the Exodus to that of David. The story is not fully chronological, but selectively demonstrates that the Lord was sovereign over the Israelites, punishing them when they sinned, but delivering them from oppression and slavery. The writer says, "God worked miracles in Egypt. He brought his people to the Holy Land. They rebelled, and he rejected them. He chose David to tend them." Psalm 79 is an Asaphic psalm where the writer says, "O God, the nations have invaded and shed blood like water. How long, O Lord? Save us for your name's sake. Make your vengeance known." Psalm 80 is an Asaphic psalm that contains a note to the director of music at the beginning, stating that it is set to the tune of a popular song at the time called "The Lilies of the Covenant." The writer says, "Hear us, O shepherd of Israel. How long will you be angry? Restore us, O God. Watch over the vine that you planted. Restore us, O God." Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh likely represent the northern kingdom. Although Benjamin literally belonged to the northern kingdom, part of the tribe must have remained with the southern kingdom since its territory bordered Jerusalem itself, and the southern kingdom continued to control the region around Jerusalem. This suggests that the disasters suffered was the Assyrian campaign that destroyed the northern kingdom. Archaeological surveys of the region show that Jerusalem and the surrounding area experienced a dramatic population increase at this time, probably the results of a massive influx of displaced persons from the north fleeing the Assyrians. This would explain the presence of Ephraim, Benjamin, and Manasseh at the Jerusalem sanctuary and the national prayer for restoration with special focus on these tribes. Psalm 81 is an Asaphic psalm where the writer says, "Sing aloud to God our strength. I hear a voice. I am the Lord. Oh, that my people would listen to me. I would subdue their enemies." Psalm 82 is an Asaphic psalm where the writer says, "God judges among the gods. How long will you judge unjustly? Defend the weak. You are all gods, but you shall die. Arise, O God." Early rabbinic traditions saw the gods as unjust rulers and judges in Israel. Today, many identify them as kings of surrounding nations who ruled with lofty disregard for justice. Others view them as divine beings in whose name these kings claim to rule. The term God is the Hebrew word Elohim, and basically refers to a spiritual being, and can refer to God, angels, or people. Psalm 83 is an Asaphic psalm where the writer says, "O God, do not keep silent. Your enemies make plans against your people. Edom, Moab, Amalek, and Philistia, let them be put to shame." To pray for someone else's well-being is to make intercession for that person, but to pray for someone's destruction is to make an imprecation. The Bible contains a number of examples of imprecations. One of the clearest is Psalm 83. Here the psalmist called on God to take action against his enemies, the Gentile nations all around who were plotting harm against Israel. The prayer minces no words. The psalmist asked God to destroy them.